Hello everybody, welcome to another Yellow Chair Devotional. For this entire series, we're meeting in my kitchen because we are doing science experiments together. We are focusing on God and science and how God, the master scientist, created each one of us to be a scientist too. And so by turning on some curiosity, by being problem solvers, and by trying hard new things, we're learning not only about science, we're learning about God. Okay, so today we're at a story that maybe we're familiar with, the story of Noah's Ark. Do you know that story? It is found in Genesis, the first book of the Bible, Genesis chapter 6, starting in verse 9, and then all the way for the remainder of chapter 7 and 8. But the thing is, I don't have time to read all of that with you. So it's in the video description below. You could read the entire story of Noah after the video. But I want to focus on Genesis 7, and let's look at verses 1 through 5. Genesis 7, 1 through 5. So if you've got your Bible handy, flip there, read with me. I love when we read the Bible together. You can pause the video if you need more time to find Genesis 7, but my subtitle, or my title here for chapter 7 says, The Flood Begins. Well, let's see here. This is Genesis 7, chapter 1. Then the Lord said to Noah, I have seen that you are the best man among the people of this time. So you and your family go into the boat. Take with you 7 pairs, each male with its female of every kind of clean animal, and take 1 pair, each male with its female of every kind of unclean animal. Take 7 pairs of all the birds of the sky, each male with its female. This will allow all these animals to continue living on the earth after the flood. 7 days from now, I will send rain on the earth. It will rain 40 days and 40 nights. I will destroy from the earth every living thing that I made. Noah did everything that the Lord commanded him. Now, sometimes the story of Noah's flood is tricky. It's tricky because the world had become very evil. They were not following God anymore. They were doing whatever they wanted. And so God says, I'm going to destroy it all and start over. I'm going to send a flood. But doesn't it make you a little bit nervous or a little bit unsure of God? Going, why would God, who loves us, send a flood to destroy everybody? That doesn't match my picture of who God is. But if we think about, right, all of those people, they were not coming back to God no matter how much Noah preached. They were doing so much destruction, so much evil. The enemy, Satan, was working so hard. And I almost wonder, did God go, Noah and his family are still faithful to me? I've still got a family faithful to me, but if I don't do something, what if the enemy finally drags them into? What if the enemy starts weaving all those lies and all of the other people start peer pressuring because they taunted and teased Noah and his family? They would yell and make fun. They were mocking God and mocking Noah. And wouldn't it have been easy to just be like, you want to know something? This is stupid. I'm not going to do this anymore. I think I'm not in this. Right? Isn't that what Satan would have wanted? I wonder if God said, in order to start fresh and clean with the people that I love so much, I'm going to do something really hard. And I'm going to send a flood that destroys. God gives life, not destruction. But here we say him sending destruction so that he can save lives. And so that he can start clean and fresh with Noah and his family. And we know that this was hard for God. It broke his heart. There's a Bible verse in the verses that I explained to you where it says God's heart breaks at this. It says that it breaks. Here in chapter 6, verse 6, his heart was filled with pain. So God wasn't up there going, oh, they're evil, be gone with them. No, oh, these are the people he loves. His heart was filled with pain, but he had a solution, a way forward, and that was with Noah and his family. All through the Bible, we see that water is used to symbolize clean, rebirth, renewal, fresh starts. And it's the same with the flood. Rain comes down, the flood waters rise, and then at the end, there's even a rainbow. But we'll see the rainbow tomorrow. Today, we're gonna look at seeing if we can make a rainstorm. Can we make it rain? But this is a little bit of a different type of rain. And so Noah and his family and the animals, they're in the ark, and the rain starts coming down. For this science experiment, I'm gonna move my Bible so I don't get water on it. For this science experiment, you want a glass jar so it's see-through, so you can see what's happening. So you could use a drinking glass if you've got a drinking glass that's clear glass. I've just got a mason jar here, or it could be plastic too if you wanted. But you just need something where you can see through it. And then I didn't fill it all the way up with water. I filled it I've got a little bit of room because we've got to add our clouds. And our clouds are gonna come in the form of shaving cream. And we want the fluffy shaving cream, not the like jelly stuff. We want the fluffy stuff. So maybe one of the adults in your house has some fluffy shaving cream, but do we ever take ingredients and start doing science experiments without permission? No. So we ask before we just start grabbing, there's shaving cream in the shower that I'm gonna use and maybe make a mess with. All right, we gotta make sure that we're asking permission, that we've got approval before we go doing all the things. Okay, the other one that we're gonna use is food coloring. All right, we're gonna use some food coloring drops. Now, sometimes this can stain your fingers, all right? So if you have gloves that you wanted to wear, you could, but we just wanna be really careful, all right? So you don't wanna get food coloring on you, okay? So you might not have a lab coat like I do, but maybe you've got an old t-shirt or something that you've already used for art projects, or something that you can wear. Maybe even a kitchen apron, okay? Just to make sure that we're not staining or getting anything messy on your clothes. All right? So with that being said, I'm gonna move my camera down here so you can see my workspace. And here we go. We've got our glass jar with some water in it, and we've got shaving cream for our cloud. Okay, so I'm gonna put some shaving cream on top here. Make sure I don't make a mess. And we are gonna make a cloud. Oh man, what do you think of that? Now, why does my shaving cream float on top of water, right? Have you ever wondered, why is it floating like that? It's not even really dissolving if we look close there, it's just sitting there. Well, it has to do with this science term that we like to call density. Density. Have you heard that word before? Density is a tricky one to understand, but what it really means is how much substance, how much stuff is packed into a volume. Because let's think about this. This shaving cream container, if I were to just fill this container with water, how much water would I have? Oh, enough to maybe pour in a glass and drink. But how much shaving cream is shoved into this can, right? It's heavy. Look at how I barely squirted any out and it became that big. So it's really been shoved in there. And then when you squirt it out, it fluffs with the air, which means that it doesn't have as much density as the water because it's floating. All right, so it's light, it's airy, like a cloud. Now, with that being said, have you ever looked outside when it's gonna rain and maybe you've even heard someone say, man, look at those clouds. They're heavy with rain. Because is water, or in this case, our food coloring, heavier than our shaving cream, than our cloud? So we're gonna take some food coloring, and mine has a little squirt to just do drops because we don't wanna like pour it all in there. So if yours doesn't have drops, you might have to use a medicine dropper. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put some on here. I'm just gonna spread it around, and then we're gonna change colors. But before we do that, I want you to see what's happening here. Look at what's happening here. Is it migrating down? Is it kind of pushing through? Look at that. That's almost hollowing it out because it's heavier, it's more dense. So now I'm going to add another color. We're just going to fill our cloud with some raindrops. Okay, what do you think? We still got room for more raindrops in our cloud. Oh, but look over there. It's starting to rain. It's starting to rain. Look at that coming down, and it's almost like slow motion. All that coming down. So I'm going to add some more colors. I'm going to leave it down here now so that my colors don't mix. You can see it all coming around here. Let's add some more. As it's gonna get heavier and heavier in our cloud. Our shaving cream cloud is heavy with rain. Heavy with rain. Okay, I'm gonna bring the camera down now so that you can actually see this without me making a whole mess. You see all of our drops slowly coming down. They're just suspended, and it's just going to take a little bit of time, and they're all going to start dropping through. So this is actually one of these science experiments that takes longer than you would want to sit watching a YouTube video. So this is one where when you're doing this can sit for a little bit, and it's just going to keep changing and keep raining. It's so fun to watch the different colors come in and swirl. Look at all these colors coming through. Look at just this littlest, bittiest little channel of purple has started working its way through, but it's making a difference as it is starting to rain. And so I'm just going to let this sit, and we're going to apply this back to Noah, okay? So let me see if I can set this here without making it too blurry crazy, right? So Noah and his family, they are safe in the ark. The rains come, God's heart is breaking as the world is being flooded. But ultimately, just like we used food coloring with our rain cloud, it almost looked like a rainbow. We know how the story ends. We know that God sends a rainbow. When eventually the whole story ends, that rainbow is a special promise of God saying, I'm not doing this again. I am a God of life and of love, and I have a covenant with you. I'm going to make a special promise with you. I'm putting the rainbow in the sky. So to do something regarding a rainbow, you're going to have to come back tomorrow for another experiment, another activity. But I want you to also just be thinking about all of the story of the ark regarded, well, it needed trust. It needed trust, right? Noah had to trust that what God said was going to happen was going to happen. They didn't know what rain was. They didn't know what this was all about. And they were told to build an ark, a huge boat, but they trusted God. They trusted God. Sometimes in science, I have a hard time trusting. I might look at an experiment. I might even try an experiment and it doesn't turn out the way I wanted it. I go, I don't know. Or maybe I look at the clouds outside and I go, we need rain so bad, or we need snow, or I want a snow day. And then it doesn't happen. Oh, but I thought those clouds had rain in them. I thought those clouds had snow in them. It kind of requires us to trust that God has it under control. God's got a plan. And because God's got a plan, the pressure is off you and me. Just like Noah and his family, once they got into that ark and the door was shut, was there anything they could do about it? No. They rested and trusted in God every step of the way. And so when the storms of life come our way, right? And maybe they're not as brightly colored, but when those storms come our way, when our boat feels like it's been rocked, let's trust God. Let's trust God every step of the way, saying, God, I'm feeling the pressure. I'm feeling these things, but I know that you've got a plan, and it's for life and it's for love. Because of that, it's good. All right, let's say a prayer together and close our time. Dear God, we're so thankful that we can trust you, and we're thankful that for stories like Noah, examples in the Bible that remind us of how good you are to us. Even in times when it seems like you're setting out with destruction, we know that it's because you are always bringing life because of your love for us. And so no matter what we're going through, may we turn to you, may we trust you with it, and may you comfort us every step of the way. We thank you for your love. In your name, amen. Okay, in the video description below, there's some reflection questions that you can add into your science journal. Maybe you want to try this a couple different times a different way, going, well, how can I mix this up? How could I maybe try this? Or maybe you want to make some predictions. Maybe you put some food coloring drops over here, and you go, I wonder which one's going to rain first. All right, there's all sorts of ways that you can personalize this experiment and go deeper and deeper into the possibilities. And then there's some reflection questions about Noah. What do we think about when we're in our Noah situations, when our boat is being rocked? Can we trust God every step of the way? I invite you to reflect on that in your own life. I'll see you tomorrow when we pick up the story of Noah and when we explore a rainbow together. I'll see you then.